Welcome to my naturally sweetened life. Let's make gluten-free, naturally sweetened sugar cookies. First, I'm going to work on the dry ingredients. For this recipe, I am using Bob's Red Mill gluten-free 1-to-1 baking flour, and I am weighing it instead of just scooping it out of the container. The reason why I weigh my flour is because I want a consistent product every time. And then add baking powder and Himalayan pink salt. Stir the dry ingredients until completely combined. Now let's work on the wet ingredients. You will need 1.5 sticks of softened butter. Today I'm using unsalted butter, but you can use salted butter as well if you would like. Use a hand mixer to start beating the butter. As you can see, it just decided to stick to the end of the whisk. So I'm just going to add my honey in, and that will solve the problem here in a few minutes. Cream the butter and the honey together until thoroughly combined. Add 2 eggs, and then once again use the hand mixer to blend all of the ingredients together. And finally, for the wet ingredients, add real vanilla extract. Now pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. Now mix the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients until it makes a soft and somewhat sticky dough. Because this dough is a sugar cookie dough, it is very sticky when you first make it. It would be impossible to roll this out. So I'm going to put all of this dough onto plastic wrap. I'm going to use the plastic wrap to kind of smush the dough into a ball because I don't even want to touch it with my hands. It's super sticky. So once I get it into somewhat of a ball shape, I'm going to wrap the plastic around the dough and then fold in each side. And we're going to put this in the refrigerator for a minimum of 2 to 3 hours, or you can even do it overnight and make the cookies the next day. The dough has rested sufficiently, so I took it out of the refrigerator and cut the big ball of dough into 4 pieces. I set the pieces aside and kept one piece, and that's what I'm rolling out right now. Roll it out to 1/4 of an inch thick and then cut it out into the shape that you desire. Today I'm simply using a round biscuit cutter, but you could make these into snowmen, Christmas trees, heart shape for Valentine's Day. Whatever you have on hand, it will work. The longer you work with the dough, the softer and more sticky it becomes. If this happens, try not to add too much flour to the dough. Just put it back into the plastic wrap and stick it back in the fridge for about 20 minutes and then come back and try to roll it again, and that should fix the problem. Also, when the dough first comes out of the refrigerator, that is when it is at its firmest. And so when you first roll it out, you're going to think, oh my goodness, this is cracking and this probably isn't going to turn out right, but it will. Just keep gradually rolling out the dough and it will soften up very quickly. And like I said before, try not to put too much flour on it, just enough to make sure things are not sticking to the counter or to your rolling pin. Continue this process until you have all of the cookies cut out. And be sure to have a parchment paper lined cooking or baking sheet ready so that you can put the cutouts on the cookie sheet immediately. Okay, here they are on the baking sheet ready to be put into the oven. And I'm going to put these in a 350 degree preheated oven for between 10 and 12 minutes. Now while the cookies are baking, let's work on the frosting. In a cold saucepan, add 2 cups of whole milk and a few tablespoons of cornstarch. And then we add Himalayan pink salt and a few tablespoons of honey. Use a whisk to combine all of the ingredients. At first, the cornstarch likes to stick to the bottom of the pan, but it's super easy. Just keep working with it and everything will combine together. Once the cornstarch is incorporated into your milk, then turn on your heat to medium. Continue to cook and stir with the whisk until the liquid starts to simmer and thickens, almost as if like you're making pudding. This is really a pastry cream base, which will eventually be our frosting. Once thickened, turn off the heat and take the pan off of the burner, add some vanilla, and stir that to combine. The cream will need to cool completely before moving on to the next step, so scrape it into a glass dish and then cover it with plastic wrap. You can put the plastic wrap directly onto the cream just as you would a pudding so it doesn't form a skin. I've had the pastry cream in the refrigerator for several hours, so now it is completely cool. The next step is to take half a cup of heavy cream and whip it until stiff peaks form. Add in the pastry cream to the whipped cream. Use the hand mixer to mix the two ingredients together. At first, it's going to look a little wonky and turn into a cream or like a cottage cheese consistency. And you might even think, oh my goodness, I just completely messed this up. But you didn't. Just keep going and mix thoroughly until everything starts to become a nice creamy frosting. It may take a few minutes, but you'll get there. I know this might be a new way to make frosting, but I wanted something that did not use the vegetable shortening. It just had a weird texture to it, and most of the ones that I've tried, they just have so much honey flavor, it's overpowering. I've even tried buttercreams. I mean, I've tried them all, and they're so just either the flavor is off or the texture is off. And this frosting is completely creamy and delicious. It has quickly become our family's favorite, and I'm even going to come out with a carob frosting soon, so be on the lookout for that. The last step is to frost your cookies. Just put a dollop on top and kind of work it around the top of the cookie, and that's it. You're ready to enjoy a naturally sweetened sugar cookie. I wanted to show you this really quick. On the top of my cookies, I had these little markings, and I've never had that before. So I think it was because my honey was crystallized, and I probably should have melted my honey to make it liquid again before I incorporated it into the butter. That's what I'm thinking it was. But it did not change the flavor, and these were just as good as every other time I've made them. They were super delicious, and my children devoured them very quickly. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to the channel to get more recipes that are gluten-free and naturally sweetened. And the link for the full printable recipe is in the description to mynaturallysweetenedlife.com. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.